Hey, this is Julius. I want to weigh in on the subject of Greebles, in particular some options that are both available and budget-friendly, but a step up from cardboard and packaging items. But what are Greebles?
It was George Lucas's term for the little nernies that go on a ship.
I'll use the concept rather loosely in this video, repurposed items that serve no actual function, but elevate the realism and professional looking of the whole design. But let's hear it from the master of the Greebles himself.
It's a carefully chosen part or piece that helps tell the story by implying some type of scientific functionality.
That's the key point, implied functionality. Always avoid adding details that have no functional explanation because they break more than help the realism. Let's start small and build up to more evolved, cooler stuff. These are found by the name of BGA reballing template. They are used to place tiny balls of solder onto the back of chips, but I don't care about that, not only because it's way above my head, but also because these are really some lovely airflow or speaker grills. And once they are incorporated in my design, no one can prove otherwise. They also do this moire effect for a bonus. Best thing, I got a lifetime supply for only $12. They elevate the look of these simple 3D prints by quite a lot. Empty CO2 canisters look cool and they can imply hydraulics functionality and justify all those pipes and hoses you added to your design. Moving over to the bicycle repair industry, there are tons of cheap metal parts that will be unrecognizable once you integrate them into your design. This is clearly some sort of a dial, I mean a spoke wrench, but really a dial. I could use it on this side, which looks cooler, but it would be interesting to take advantage of the numbers on the flip side to imply some more functionality. I used it on a rotary switch. It's definitely satisfying to use. And I can easily also trigger something with it, for example. Add in some 3D printed accessories and it looks like this for not that much work. Another wrench, this time for the pedal housing, a brilliant knob for a rotary encoder. It has a significant heft, it will make for a very satisfying interaction. This time, beside the 3D printed parts, I also added a transparent acrylic cover and some LEDs for some light effects to better show the whole knob. Since it's a Greeble, it doesn't have to actually do anything, so I'm using that quadrature functionality of the encoder just to flicker the LEDs. This would also make for a good demo to understand how quadrature encoders work. Similarly, the automotive industry is the big brother for when you need something bigger. The junkyard is filled with this type of ball joints, bigger and smaller. Let's turn it into something real quick. Some CAD design and 3D printing later, I have a shaft slot selector. Oh, by the way, I love this zinc finish paint. Adding a transparent acrylic layer on top where I used my technique of 3D printing straight onto the acrylic to mark a cryptic meaning for each position. Oil filter wrenches that sell for $8 look like this. And I'm planning to turn it into a sort of a reinforced container for radioactive stuff and whatnot. If you can still tell me that's an oil filter wrench, I hope you have a fire extinguisher nearby because your pants are on fire. Okay, this for me is the ultimate Greeble. Can you guess what it is? If you can, then you probably have a respectable age, and for you in particular, I retract the previous rude remark. Sorry. It is the printing head of a dot matrix printer. Aha, that sound brings me back to childhood. I took that apart because the bottom is gorgeous on its own. Those are some very strong magnets, by the way. The way this worked, the pins were neatly organized as a matrix, hence the name, and they would be controlled individually and pushed by those solenoids radially distributed. The pins then would push against an impregnated ribbon and onto the page. I can already see some energy being generated through the pins and pushed upward. I've been saving this one because I like it so much, but someday I'll find a use for it. Exposed boards are awesome as Greebles, and custom designed ones are rather cheap nowadays. If the thought of designing one scares you, I have good news for you. They don't have to actually work. Your Greeble won't care about capacitive coupling, impedance, crosstalk. They just won't. You can pretty much do anything. On the visible face, I placed some true hole components that won't get actually mounted just for the holes. I added a bunch more vias to have some destination for the mock traces. You can't simply leave traces hanging, they will just look stupid. I also cut some slots for the backlight to shine through. Oh, also you can go wild with vector graphics on the seal screen layer. You can't really break anything really, so just try it. Matter of fact, this is my second PCB ever. These ones that I manually did in my childhood don't count. So I was brave enough this time to add some LEDs and resistors to it. Not brave enough to solder them myself, but that's fine, the provider will do it for a price. Said provider is PCBWay, and they are also sponsoring this video. PCBs of all sorts are just one of the things they are good at. Let's now go through the process alongside with the result and see how easy it is. So cute. I went with a yellow PCB and solder mask, and I played with some gaps in the solder mask just for the looks. White seal screen, everything else left as default. Then I go and splurge a bit on assembly, because right now I'm still a bit intimidated by SMD soldering. I ordered all 10 to be assembled, and I also received one bare PCB extra, which I appreciate and I'll definitely use it. By the way, I could do a tutorial on how to make yourself one of these, so if you're interested, shout it out in the comments, otherwise I'll never know. I CAD'd and printed a central piece to hold 4 of these in a sort of assembly. Ooh, coming together nicely. It's a pleasure soldering on these pads, I'm glad I made them so big. Cool, wires! I power it straight with the 5V power supply and it lights up nicely, straight out of the box. Look at them pretty lights. I also made an alternate version with a missing corner that will accommodate a sort of a faux valve, made from a small jar plus some recycled boards glued to a high voltage ceramic resistor. Lights up, of course, LEDs in the base. For the final trick, the biggest transformation of them all, the Allen key. To add some extra drama to this video, the story started with a happy end of cutting my losses after a fail that I wasn't able to over-engineer into a happy ending. I wanted to make one of these cool 90 degrees gearless transmission mechanisms, and I thought, hey, straight angle metal rods, yes, I knew it was a good idea to keep all those Allen keys from IKEA. Good order, good. So I put in some work just to find out that the angles are slightly acute on those keys. Could I somehow square them? Of course, but they betrayed me and now I feel betrayed. It also kind of defeats the purpose. I should give up on them at this point, but think about it. I didn't throw away the useless Allen keys in the first place. Will I be able to throw them away now that I got involved in projects? So I'm printing some more and laser cutting some pieces too, but this could also be printed. There is an easy technique to spray paint those stripes. I'll maybe detail it one day, if not obvious. And here's an energy conduit. The Allen keys make for a believable guarding of the sensitive component. To illuminate the ends, I'm using these slow color changing LEDs. They are cool to get some light effects without added logic, but they can quickly start to look tacky if abused. I found enough more Allen keys for another version. I'm using another one of those little jars to host the radioactive fungus specimen. Am I the only one that feels like The Last of Us completely turned into the many spin-offs of The Walking Dead? Anyway, here it is, the dangerous fungus, properly guarded by metal bars. It needs to light up to be radioactive, it's a widely known scientific fact. Oh, that's a dentist tool. You're not using one of those? It's extremely useful. Boop. More cute than perilous, if you ask me. Cool. Do you want to see them all together now?